Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm Siobhan and I'm the founder of Fearfully Wonderfully Made. So right now we're in a series titled Women Walking in Passion and Purpose, where I highlight different women walking in their passion and their purpose. So today I have the pleasure of interviewing Shelby. She is a Dallas-based artist here and I love her work. So I wanted to sit down and talk to her and dig a little deeper just to get to know why she started art and how it turned into a passion for her. So Shelby, if you're ready for the interview, I'll go ahead and start, which the first question is, tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Shelby Kilgore, as she mentioned. I'm originally from Long Island, New York. I moved out here to Dallas, Texas about a little over 3 years ago. And actually that's when I started painting. I loved art when I was growing up in college. I mean, not in college, in middle school, high school art classes. I always really liked it. Kind of had like a small knack for it, but didn't take it seriously at all. So yeah, my passion got reignited after moving to Dallas.
Cool. I see. Looking at her artwork, I wouldn't have known you've only been painting for 3 years. So was that something like therapeutic for you, or kind of a comfort zone since you were new to Texas?
So really I didn't. Okay, so you want me to tell you the story about how I got started?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened was I was working for like, I want to say probably about a year and a half ish before I started painting. So what happened, I hated my job. I'll just put it that, hated my job. And so like it was just miserable getting up and going to work every day. Like just miserable. And I don't like to be miserable. So I was like, I have to find a way to get out of this funk. Like I have to find a way to like kind of encourage myself on a daily basis to make my day better. Like, cause I would wake up and be like, oh, gotta go, you know, and I just hated that feeling. So I guess right around probably the beginning of 2017, like I tried to get a new job, that didn't work out, and I felt like God was just like, girl, stop trying to look for a new job, like that's not what we're doing. So I was like, okay. So then like early 2017 I was like, okay, everybody was doing like goal walls and stuff like that, and I was writing down my goals, and I was like, I'm gonna do a scripture wall to kind of like encourage myself. Like I can have all the scriptures that are encouraging to me, all the ones that I love, I just want them up on my wall so that when I'm, you know, getting dressed in the morning, you know, like I'm running late all the time, so I don't have time to like I don't always have time in the morning to be like, let me, you know, read and meditate. Like I'm usually waking up like, I gotta go, like, you know. So I'm like, I need something to be like, okay, there's a quick word, you know, that I can see that'll just make me feel better, like to let me know, like, you know, yeah, God still got me. So I was like, I'm gonna create a scripture wall. And I was like, well, trying to find all the scriptures that I want in the right colors, like to go with the rest of my apartment, is probably not gonna happen. So I was like, let me just paint them myself. And so I bought the canvases. I had nothing. I had no art supplies at all. I bought the canvases, bought the brushes, bought the paint, and just started painting out small canvases with scriptures on them. And I think I did about 10 of those, and I made a cross out of it. Wow. And after doing that, like while doing that, I realized that, like, because it took me a little while, because I wouldn't paint every day, but I would paint some days after work. And I kind of throughout the process noticed that, like, actually remember that I actually really love to paint. And like it was therapeutic for me actually painting it. And I was like, oh, this is fun, this is like a stress reliever. And after I did finish the wall, I was like, I kind of want to keep painting. So I found some other stuff to paint, and then I was like, oh, you know, asking my friends and family, like, who wants this? Because I can't keep it. It doesn't, you know, like it doesn't go anything in my, you know, place. And I realized I was like, I can't keep painting, you know, and not like I won't have anything to do with it. So that kind of started the idea to kind of like sell them, like, you know, so I can. So cool. Yeah.
So her I guess I would say brand or business is called Draw Near Art. So did you want to explain like where you got Draw Near from?
That's also kind of I don't know if it's a funny story, but yeah, so I was trying to figure out a name, and I knew that I wanted to do inspirational art, because I was like, I want to do the same art for people that I did for myself, to, you know, encourage myself, to remind myself of the love of God and all that kind of stuff. So I knew that's what I wanted my art to be centered on, and I was trying to find a name for it, and I was like, well, I want to do something that kind of like plays on like the art term. So I'm like looking through like the Bible, and I'm like, something that plays on like, you know, the Bible and art. And I really wasn't coming up with anything. And then like one day I was like walking around my apartment, and there's from a conference I went to, I think it was the Sparrow conference or something like that. And one of the like things that treats they give you in like the little welcome bag, it said, draw near to God and he will draw near to you.
Confirmation.
Right, and I'm like just walking around, and I like looked at it, and I was like, that's it. Like that's it. So that's actually how.
Yes.
And I was just like, I like it. I draw near, like it. I like it.
That's so cool.
So, yeah.
That's amazing how God gave you that answer. Like
right?
you've been praying, and it fits perfectly.
It hit me right in the face. So, yeah.
I love your art. It's so inspirational. It has scripture on it. Her art is amazing. So I will tag her on here, her Instagram, so you can go support her, support Black businesses, buy her art. It's amazing. But Shelby, so I guess you kind of already hit on what made you want to pursue art. Mm-hmm. You said you hated your job, and it was just something therapeutic, kind of like a getaway for you. But explain how this is a passion and a purpose for you. Either passion and purpose, or passion or purpose, either or.
That's a good one. So it's a passion because like it's something that I do without getting paid, right? Like nobody paid me to start painting. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's something that I love to do regardless of what it will do for me monetarily. So yeah, I think that's why I kind of see it as a passion of mine. And just the feeling, it's really hard to describe the feeling that you get, like you kind of get lost in what you're doing, you know, like you just kind of get lost in it, and then once it's finished, like creating is just kind of like really, really something that I love to do. And it's like the idea, having an idea and then seeing it actually come to fruition, it's just like indescribable how good that feels. And so like even when I walk around and like my apartment and I see a painting that I did, I'm just like amazed, like it's not me who did it, you know, because it's like I didn't think it would turn out that good, you know. And it's like a lot of times when you're in it, you don't see how it's turning out, and then like I'll go to sleep and I wake up the next morning and be like, wow, that looks better than I thought it did when I went to sleep. So it's just all of that is just really a great feeling. But it's a purpose for me because I initially I prayed about whether or not to make it a business. Okay. I didn't know if it was really what I should do. Didn't know if it's what God wanted me to do. But I think purpose should always have an effect on other people. Yes. You know, it should always be some way to help somebody else. So I feel like, you know, my art, I'm not just creating art just for the sake. You know, I could paint. There's a whole bunch of things I would love to just paint, right? But I only paint things that have a meaning behind them, that have a, you know, that will be encouraging or inspirational to somebody else, because that's the purpose of it. And even though, you know, people may try to get you to paint, you know, different things, or I want you to do this, and I'm like, I have to stay true to the reason why I started this, you know. And so because I don't want to veer from that purpose. So
I think that's good. I really like that you highlighted this is a purpose for me because I pretty much get to serve others. Like, it's not about me. I'm giving back to somebody else. And I know that's something that somebody told me before. When it's your purpose, it's not about you. It's about how others can benefit from it, the value you can add to somebody's life. So I love the fact that you said that. And I know with the scripture and encouragement you have on your art, is encouraging somebody. But it started with encouraging you, so it's kind of like simultaneously where it's like it helps you, but it helps somebody else too. So that's really good. So Shelby, you have been sharing some great information with us so far. So the next question is, what has been a learning experience for you with your art?
So with my art, and I guess a lot of it is with the business too. Starting small.
Ooh.
So
come on and slap us in the face right now, because we need to hear that. We all need to hear that.
I have struggled because I have a million ideas running through my head, and they come so fast. Like, always have these ideas, and then they're so big. They're so like, you know, probably where I will be 5 years from now. You know, like 10 years from now, and initially I was trying to implement them now at like ground zero, right? Like I just started and I'm trying to do something, like I've been running this business for years, you know?
Yeah.
And I found that it just makes your life hard. And then it's also like, it's just not doable. Like, you know, like financially it's not doable. You know, I don't have anybody. I'm like a one-man show, so I don't have anybody working for me. So it's just like, and it's part-time, right? Like I have a full-time job. So it's just like all of those things. I was trying to do this as if it was some big company and it's a bunch of people working and this is all I gotta focus on, you know? And it just becomes difficult. So it's like learning how to have big ideas for growth, but work in the situation that you're in.
Right.
And I think TD Jakes said something about that too, and I was just like, that's what my issue is. Like, you know, you have to learn how to do what it is that you're doing in the setting and with the materials that you have at your disposal, and not like try and stretch yourself past where you are right now. That was probably the biggest lesson. Actually, I'm still learning that. Yeah. I always have to reel myself in, because I'm like, I love these ideas, and I'm like, I just want to do it, and I'm like, okay, slow down. What do you have now? Can you work with that? So yeah.
That's good. I mean, and I know it's probably hard for you as an artist and like a visionary, and you have a vision. So one, it's great that you have vision and you can see yourself excelling. But I know it's so hard, because sometimes when God shows us things, it's like, is this what you want me to do now, or is this, 10 times down the road? And I know that's something I struggle with too. So I think that is actually a great learning experience. Like, start small, because a lot of us, we don't want to start small. We want to already arrive, and we already want to be here. And it's just like, but everybody had to start somewhere. So start with what you have and then work your way up. And I think we can appreciate it more as like the artist, as the person that's doing it, and maybe the audience too, just to see your growth. Yeah. Or it's a humbling experience, like I started from here and I had to work my way up. So it's something good to reflect on when you do get there. So I really like that, Shelby. So last question. Share a tip for those possibly wanting to pursue like a hobby or a career in art.
So a tip that I would give is to create the art that you want to create. And don't create art, it's going to sound bad, but don't create art for people. And the reason why I say that is, like, for instance, I had some pieces that I created, and when I first started, I feel like some of my earlier ones, and I say that like I've been doing this for a long time, but some of the ones that I did at the beginning aren't as good in my eyes as the ones that I've done more recently, because I feel like I've gotten better. And one of them I almost didn't even put on my site. Like, I was like, nobody's gonna like this. This one's kind of like okay. And I ended up putting it on my site anyway, and it ended up being one of the more popular ones. Yeah, like people were like, oh my god, that's so pretty, and I'm like, okay, And also I wanted to, I was like, oh, I should make art that like men will like too, because like I'm a woman, so a lot of my art I feel like it's kind of feminine because it's just naturally what I like and what I do. And I was like, I should try to make art that guys will want to buy. And then one of my friends actually ended up buying a piece from me that like I didn't intend to, I guess, make for men. Like, it's not a feminine piece, but it wasn't one of the ones where I had like men in mind when I created it. And I thought to myself, like, you don't know what people are gonna like. You know, like, you don't know. I can't, like, you don't know. So I had to just create art that I feel good about, that I like. You never know how it's gonna affect people. So I think trying to tailor your art to an audience is like not a good idea. You know?
You're speaking to my life right now. that is something, that's definitely a tip that everybody can learn from. Just whatever their craft is, do it for you. Because when you start doing it for others, it
shows.
It waters down.
It shows
what it is, or it's just like you. Everybody can't hit every audience. It's somebody for everybody, you know. So stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
That's what I'm learning. Stay in your lane. But Shelby, thank you for coming and interviewing.
Thank you.
If you wanted to tell everybody like your Instagram, your website, and of course I have it in the description bar. But
yes, follow me on Instagram at DrawNearArt. That's DrawNearArt. Right. And if you want to purchase or just look at all of my pieces, my website is www.drawnearart.com. Yeah.
Okay. Well, she said it, so y'all go check her stuff out. And also stay tuned for some clips from the Chocolate and Art Show, because I will be recording some of her art and just kind of her in her natural zone. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be after this. Talk to you next time. To the next interview.